Good day, everyone. My name is Mpumelelo Langa. In this video, we are going to try and look at different functions that we need to be aware of in our data analysis. Mainly, we want to introduce and look at how the Xlookup function operates. So here I have prepared a file that we are going to use for our demonstrations. So in this first file we are going to be we need to use a function to look up for the bonus of each employee, as we have this table here. So this table has got the employee name, the salary, and also the bonus field here. So what we need to do is we need to look up for the bonus of each employee from this table that I have in here. So which function can be more convenient to use in order for us to be able to find the bonus and bring it to this table here? Okay, so when we look at these two tables, we can see that we have a common value. We have the salary here. We also have the salary on this side. But what we can note is that the salaries are not exact. When we look at this table here, for an employee that is being paid between 10,000 and 30,000, the bonus is going to be 0%. One that is being paid 30,000 and between 30,000 and 50,000, the bonus is going to be 5%. And also for an employee that is being paid between 50,000 and also 60,000, the bonus is going to be 8%, and so on. So which function can be more convenient to use in this case? Okay, the simplest function that can work here, the simplest function that can work is a Vlookup function. A Vlookup function is the most simplest function that can work here. So for this one, we are going to use a Vlookup function. Why are we going to use a Vlookup function? It's because we do have a common value on this table and also on this one, which is the salary, which is going to be our lookup value. And also, the most important thing that we need to note is that from this table where we will be taking the bonus, from this table where we will be taking the bonus, the lookup value, which is the salary, is on the first column, or it's on the left hand side of the value that we want to take. Make sure that you understand that one. The lookup value is on the left hand side of the bonus, which is what we want to take. That is why a VLOOKUP will be able to work. So let's type the function here. So we're going to say equal a VLOOKUP. So here is the function. Double click on it. Here the parameters lookup value. We say it is going to be this value here. One simplest thing to note the lookup value is that it should be a value that is going to be in both tables. It's in this table and also in this table here. So our lookup value is going to be the salary, and then the table array, we highlight the table array. And the way we are highlighting, still we are keeping the lookup value, which is the salary, to be on the left hand side of the bonus, which is what we want to take. So we say comma the column index number. In which column is the value that we want to take in this table array? From this table array that we've highlighted, in which, or what is the column number with the values that we want to take? So when we look at this table, what we want to take is the bonus, which is in column number 2. So that is going to be our column index number, which is going to be 2. And then now this part here, the range lookup. When we look at our lookup value here. We have 89,500, of which we do not have the exact values in this table array. For all these values that we are having, we do not have the exact value. So what we are going to do here is we are going to be taking the approximate matches. We need to take the approximate matches because, as we said, if an employee is being paid a salary that is 89,500, which is between 60,000 and also 100,000, the bonus is going to be 10%. So here we are going to use the approximate match because we do not have the exact matches in this table containing the lookup value. So here we take the approximate match and then we close the brackets and then we say enter. And then we can be able to see that if an employee that is being paid 89,500, the one is going to be given a bonus of 10%, as we've said here. And then once we have entered the formula or the function, and we are done with it, before we replicate the function to all the other cells, we need to make sure that we look for any cell references that needs to be fixed, or any cell references where we need to use a absolute referencing, of which in this case it's only the table array that doesn't need to change when we are replicating the function. So we need to use absolute referencing here. So you just click or you just press F4 on the keyboard, and then this is how our formula is going to be. So we say enter, and then we can replicate the function to all the other cells. So this is how our bonus is going to be. So let's look at this one. For example, this employee here is being paid 21,000. I mean, 21,000 is between 10,000 and 30,000. So the bonus is going to be 0%. This one here is being paid 39,000, which is between 30,000 and 50,000. So the bonus is going to be 5%. So that is how we can use a Vlookup function to enter the bonus on this one here, on this table. So what we also need to note is that for the approximate match, here, I want us to just read the statement. Approximate match, the values in the first column of table array must be sorted in ascending order. That is to say, the approximate match will perfectly work if these values here, these values containing the lookup value, they need to be in ascending order. They need to be sorted in ascending order. Else, the Vlookup is not going to work for the approximate match if this column containing the lookup value is not sorted in ascending order. Okay, so that is the section. So let's move on to the next one. So here I want us to look at this table here. Let's look at this table. So also with this one, I want us to find or to look up the bonus from this table array here. We need to look up the bonus from this table. So we'll take the bonus and bring it to this column here with the find bonus. But when we want to decide going to use, we need to look at the table array. We need to look at the table array. So this one is in a vertical format. So one would say, why can I be able to use a Vlookup function? The answer is no. Why can't we be able to use a Vlookup function to find the bonus or to take the bonus and bring it to this table. Please recall that on the first exercise we said we can only be able to use the Vlookup function if the column or the section containing the lookup value is on the left hand side of the value that we want to take. But then when we look at this table array, what we want to take is the bonus, and our lookup value is going to be the salary. So the salary in this case is on the right hand side of what we want to take. So a VLOOKUP cannot be able to work. So if a VLOOKUP cannot work, what do? We have another function that can work. Either your lookup value is on the left or on the right hand side of the value you want to take. That function is called a lookup function. So let us use the lookup function to find the bonus. So a lookup function, or maybe before we type in the lookup function, a lookup function is one of the functions that are in our syllabus. So when we look at the syllabus here, we have 4 of the lookup functions. We have the lookup. This is the one that we need to use now. The lookup, just the general lookup. So we have the lookup, we have the VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, and also the Xlookup, which is what we'll also cover in this lesson. So now we are using this lookup here, the lookup function, as it's specified in our syllabus of 0417. So how does the lookup function operate? So we are going to say equal and then a lookup. So we have 3 parameters of the lookup function, which is the lookup value, a value that is going to be in both tables that is going to be used to reference on the other table. So here we click on the lookup function, on the lookup value I mean, and then we say comma. Second parameter, the lookup vector. The lookup vector is going to be in the table where you want to take your data or where you want to take your value. And the lookup vector should be the vector or the column or the row. In case of a horizontal table, it's going to be the vector with the lookup value. Where are you having your lookup value? So in this case, it's in salary. So my lookup vector is going to be salary because this is where I am having my lookup value. So if the lookup value is here, that's going to be my lookup vector. And then I say comma, and then it says result vector. Now the result vector, which section do I want to take the value that I want to bring to this table I'm working on? So I want to bring in the bonus. I want to take the bonus from this table. I want to take the bonus. So this is going to be my result vector. So these are my 3 parameters: lookup value, which is a value that is in both tables. And then we have the lookup vector, which is in the table where I want to take my value, and it's going to be the one that is containing the lookup value. And then the result vector is also in the table where I want to take my data, and then this one contains what I want to take. So before we move on, or before we say enter here to see our results, we need to understand that for the lookup function will work even if you do not have the exact matches. By default, if you do not have an exact match, the lookup function will simply give you the approximate match. You do not need to specify that you want to use an approximate match. So with the lookup function, you will automatically be given the approximate match if you do not have the exact match, right? And also the lookup function only works if your lookup vector is sorted in ascending order. The lookup function only works if your lookup vector is sorted in ascending order. So let's say enter so that we can see our result. So here we can be able to see that our salary is it's not exact to the ones that we're having in this table here. So what will happen here is we'll be using the approximate matches. So we'll be using the approximate matches. So for 89,500 is going to be 10% because it's between 60,000 and 100,000. So before we replicate the function again, which sections do we need to fix? Which sections do we need to apply our absolute referencing? The first one is the lookup vector, which is this one here. So let's fix it by pressing F4 on the keyboard. And also our result vector, it needs to be fixed because it doesn't need to change. So we say F4. So it's going to be like this. We say enter, and then we can replicate our function to all the other cells. So here is our bonus. And if we look at these values here, they are exactly similar to what we were having on this side. Exactly the same things, only that on this side it was possible for us to use a Vlookup function using the approximate match. So on this one we have used the lookup function because of the table array we were using. Okay, so now I want us to move on and do the ID section. So here we need to find the ID of each employee using this table array here. So for each employee, we need to take the ID, the employee ID, and bring it to this table. Again, which function can we use for this one? Which function can we use? So to start with, amongst the 4 lookup functions that we can that we have in our syllabus, obviously the Xlookup cannot be able to work because the table is saved in a vertical format, this one here. And then the Vlookup function, can it be able to work because this table is saved in a vertical format? The answer is no. Why? Because when we look at this table where we want to bring in the ID and this one where we need to take the ID, the common value on these 2 tables is the employee name. We have the employee name here, we have the employee name here. So that is to say our lookup value, the value that is going to link the 2 tables is the employee name. And then when we look at this table, the employee name is on the right hand side of the employee ID, which is the value that we want to take. That is to say we cannot use a Vlookup because the employee name, which is going to be our lookup value, is on the right hand side of the employee ID, which is what we want to take. So now that is to say a Xlookup and Vlookup cannot work. So now what about the lookup function? Let's try it and see. So we say equal lookup value, we said it's going to be the employee name, and then the lookup vector we said is going to be the vector or the section that is containing the lookup value, and then we'll say comma, the result vector is the one that contains what we want to take. And then let's say enter and see if this one is correct. So for an employee that is Senzo Dlamini here, we find that the employee ID is ID 0025. So let's see if for Senzo Dlamini. So this is wrong. This is not correct. Senzo Dlamini is ID 0020. Why is this wrong? Why is the lookup function not working here? That is because we had said on the first part, we had said the lookup vector here needs to be sorted in ascending order. So when we look at these employee names here, they are not sorted in ascending order, hence making the lookup function not to work. So if you can sort this thing here, if you can sort the employee names, the lookup function can work, but we do not want to do anything. We do not want to interfere with the source file or with the table that has been given to us. So what do we need to do? Because the lookup function is now not working, so we now need to move on to a function that is going to be able to work here. So that is going to be the Xlookup function. So let's say Xlookup, okay, it is usually said the lookup function is an ancestor of the Xlookup. So the Xlookup has been made from the lookup function. So here is the Xlookup. The Xlookup has got 6 parameters. The Xlookup function has got 6 parameters. But then amongst the 6 parameters, the last 3, they are optional. The last 3 are optional, of which the first 3, they need to always be there. These ones are compulsory. We need to use the first 3. But then you can decide not to use the last 3 because those ones are optional. So how does the Xlookup work? The Xlookup has got a lookup value, of which is still the value that is going to be in both tables, the value that is going to link the 2 tables. So here we are going to use the employee name as our lookup value, and then we say comma the lookup array. The lookup array again is the array or the section with the lookup value. So in this case, this is our lookup array, and then we say comma, we have the return array. The return array is going to be the section containing the value that we want to take. So it's going to be like this, and then let's say enter. And then let's see if this is correct. When we look at Senzo Dlamini here, we have been given that the ID is ID 0020, which corresponds to what we have also on this side. So the Xlookup has worked correctly. So let us see what we can fix in order for us to be able to replicate. Obviously, it's going to be the lookup array. So we say F4 and also the return array F4. So say enter, we can then replicate the function. So let's see maybe for this one here, Musamanyatsi ID 0023, Musamanyatsi, here is the ID. So the Xlookup has perfectly worked for this one. So that is to say the Xlookup doesn't care either the lookup vector or the lookup array here, either it's sorted or it's not sorted. So it just works without any problem. So if your lookup array is not sorted, it can also be on either side of your value that you want to take. It can be on the left hand side or it can be on the right hand side. It doesn't matter. It is going to work perfectly fine. So that is how the Xlookup works. And then I want us to also look at these parameters, the ones that we said they are optional. So the fourth parameter here, let's say comma, so that you can say the fourth parameter is this one here, if not found. This one has to say the Xlookup doesn't give you any errors. You have an option of avoiding the errors. For example, the most common error that we have, the NA. If the lookup value is not found, what do you do? So let us say here, let's just add one more name. Let's say we are going to add a name that is not in the in this table here. We are going to add a Sizwe. Let's say Sizwe Mamba, and then let's give this one maybe a salary of 87,000. So here is the bonus, and then we are on this case. In this case, the name Sizwe Mamba has not been found here, or that is to say, the lookup value has not been found here. So with the Xlookup, we do have an option to say, if not found, what do you need to display? You can decide to say, if I do not find the lookup value, or if the lookup value is blank, I need to also display a blank. So for this one, you can just put it inside the Xlookup. So if you say enter, I think we can see that it's now going to be blank because we have just put in inside here, right? So the Xlookup is able to just incorporate that section inside this function. And then I want us to also look at this one, match mode, and also the search mode. So in order for us to be able to understand the match mode, let's add another field here. Let's say we are going to say it's find bonus again, but then there is something that I want us to see with this one here. So we say it's equal Xlookup. So the lookup value for the find bonus, let's use this one so that you can be able to see how that thing operates. And then the lookup array, the one that is containing the lookup values, this one, let's just fix it. We'll say comma, and then the return array, we want to take it from here, the bonus. Let's fix this. And then now, because okay, this one's the compulsory parameters, and then the next three we say they are optional. You can decide not to put them. So in this case, let's say we do not want to include the if not found. We do not want to include that one. We simply want to use the match mode. So if you want to skip a parameter, you say comma. Now it wants us to put in if not found, which is what we want to skip. So we'll put in another comma to move into the next parameter that we want to use. So now we are on the match mode. So the match mode says we are going to put 0 if we want to take an exact match from the bonus. we are going to take -1 if we want to take an exact match or next smaller item. Let's start with that one. So let's put in -1 and try to discuss that, and then we close a bracket. We say enter. It gives us 0.1. So let's change it to percentages here. So it says 10%. So let us replicate everything here so that we can see and then discuss this. So if we look at this field here, it's it's exactly like the one we are having on the other section. So we have 10%, we have 10%, we have 15, we have 15. So what does it mean to say on this match mode we are using the exact match on next smaller item, or next smaller item? So if in this case our salary is 89,500, 89,500 is between 60,000 and 100,000. So because we have said on our match mode we want to take the next smaller item, that is to say we use the lower bound, if we can put it in that way. So we are going to take the value that is corresponding to 60,000, the lower bound, which is going to be 10%. We have 39,000 here. 39,000 is between 30,000 and 50,000. So the next smaller item is the 30,000, which is corresponding to the 5%. Hence, we have the 5% here. Another one, the 21,000 here. Here is 20,000 is between 10,000 and 30,000. So the next smaller item is the 10,000 corresponding with the 0%. So the Xlookup allows us to choose either we want to use the lower bound or the upper bound. What do we say if we want to use the upper bound? This is the option here. Exact match on next larger item, or next large item. So in that case we put in a 1. So let's say enter. So if we put in a 1, we have 15% now. So let's replicate this. So this one we have okay, we are going to sort this one out here. So 15% now. We have 89,500. 89,500 is between 60,000 and 100,000. So in this case, we take the upper bound. So that is the 100,000. So it's corresponding to 15%. And we also have this one here, 51,000. 51,000 is between 50 and 60,000, which the upper bound is 60,000, corresponding to the 10%. Hence, we're having 10% here. So that is the match mode. And then here for this one, for the error, the first thing that is making us to have an error here is because in our function we didn't specify, or we have skipped this parameter here, this one of the if not found. So that is why we are going to have the error here. And the error is caused by the fact that on the salary we are having 110,000. In our table we have a salary of 100,000. So what is the upper bound of the 110,000? There is nothing that we're having here. So this value here is not found in this table. That is why we are having the error. So the error, it can be sorted here on the if not found section to say, maybe if you are having an error, you display let's say you can even make it to be text to say, if you do not find anything, they simply say not found, just like this. So here is the text that we wanted to display. Or you can say, if you do not find it, you are going to leave it blank, just like this. So let's put it in this first one here so that when we replicate, we can have it for all the. So let's now replicate this function. So yes, the function is now working. In this section, it was going to display a blank because we didn't use a, or we do not have the value here. So this is what we have on the Xlookup function. So please allow me to end my video here. May we please comment on the comment section of the YouTube channel so that we can be able to discuss more on the Xlookup function, because the Xlookup function, I think we are all aware that it's new and it's in our syllabus. Thank you so much.